Hi folks, how are you? Estou aqui hoje nesse vídeo com a Vitória do canal Inglês com Vitória, que é um nome inclusive interessante, porque não é um inglês com fracasso, é o inglês com vitória, né? Tem duplo sentido. O inglês vitorioso, o inglês com vitória e o inglês vitorioso, né? A gente está fazendo aqui um vídeo sobre as principais diferenças entre o inglês britânico e o inglês americano. A gente não pretende esgotar o assunto porque é muito extenso, mas vou falar um pouquinho sobre a forma de expressar algumas palavras mais comuns. E aí ela vai falar um pouco da diferença cultural. A Vitória, ela tem quase 10 anos de experiência lá na Inglaterra. Na verdade, ela é jovem. Ela passou mais tempo da vida dela na Inglaterra do que na cultura brasileira, né? Então a gente vai falar um pouquinho sobre isso. Hello, how are you doing, Vitória?
Hello, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thanks for asking. So, have you noticed that I said hi, folks? Is there a way, popular way of saying hi in England? Is there a similar way to hi, folks?
In England, people usually say like, hello, hi, how you doing? If you're meeting someone, it's nice to meet you, pleasure to meet you, and they will introduce themselves. And the only big difference between the two that I realized was when I was going to England and I was learning, and I heard a lot of people saying hiya, and I was like, what is that? What does that mean? And my mom explained to me that it means hi, but in a different way.
Okay, hiya. Hiya is like a short version of how are you doing or how are you all or something like that. Maybe it's a short version. It's a contract form, maybe. The language, usually the language identifies with a group, a specific group. When people are talking formally, they say very accurate English in a very formally manner, but depending on the region, I bet the same happens in England.
Yes, in England, there's so many different accents and different types of pronunciation. Like from people from London, they speak completely different from people that's from like Essex. It's still English, but the accent is so different, and it's like a small country, and there's so many varieties of accents. It's really crazy. Yeah.
But what about water? How do you say water?
All right, that's the biggest difference between the two. I say water, and I hear so much like videos. I find it so funny. In America, they say water. It's so cool.
Yes, they say water, and at max water, but water sounds more. The sound is stronger. Water, right?
Water.
Yeah. Con is different. Con. Where in the United States they say can.
Yes, can't in England.
You say I con. Is that the way you say it?
Yeah, I can't do this.
What about better?
Oh, that's a great one.
Better. It's much better. Much better. In your opinion, what do you think? Which one do you think it's easier for students to learn? The British English or the American English? Which one do you think?
Honestly, I think American English is a lot easier to learn. Like we were talking about the R's, like better. I think that's how you say in America.
Better.
A lot of people here will automatically think of better or water instead of better, water.
Okay.
Understand? That's I think is a little harder, a little more challenging to learn the British English.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the cultural differences between the two cultures, the American culture and the British culture. Oh, do you know any aspect about those differences?
Going back to a little bit at when you were talking about greetings, arriving on time, British people take that so seriously because it's like you're inviting someone over, and if you're late, they would just think, oh wow, then the person really didn't care enough about coming over, so they would think it's rude. So that would be like a great tip for someone that's trying to go to England, to not be late, arrive on time.
Right on time. What about any other cultural difference you notice, or something that really caught your eye, caught your attention about?
I think bringing gifts when you go over somewhere, like if someone invites you to come over, normally in England you would bring like a wine if you're overage, like just a little like gift to just present, like, oh, thank you for inviting me. But over here, people arrive 3 hours later. They don't bring anything. Like, it's just like normal here. But in England, I think people are normally very formal.
It takes some time for them to trust you. That is interesting.
I think British people, they're very in their space. They're so conservative. So like if someone else just like starts asking random questions, they'll think like, well, that's a bit rude. Like, I don't think I should be telling you this. It's very private information.
Oh.
And then here, like people just talk about everything. And like I remember when I came back to Brazil, I was always like very not too shy, but I was always in my space. Like I didn't want to invade anyone else's space. And they said I was very what's the word? They used like kind of arrogant. Like they said I'm arrogant because I didn't like talk a lot to people, but it's because like I was respecting like everyone else's situation. But then like everyone was talking about everything, like what they done last week, what they're gonna do here in 5 years. Like it was just talking about everything. But in England, people are more like conservative. They usually don't speak about everything, and they take time to allow someone to come over into their personal space.
Okay, that's
and
awesome.
A lot of my students that actually is in England, they say, oh, British people are so cold, that's so rude. But it's literally because of that reason, like they're conservative, so you have to like try and talk to them, like get them to kind of get used to you, feel comfortable to you. I think touched on what you were saying as well about like different cultures. I think schools is something that's completely different from every other country I've ever seen. Like over here, how like the grading system, and in America as well, it's very similar to the grading systems here in Brazil. And like I think they normally say like junior high, like high school and stuff. In English, yeah, I'm not too sure. Yeah. But in England, we say, so the first one is nursery, from like little babies, then there's reception, then you go into primary school. Primary school is from like year 1
primary
all the way to year 6.
Okay, so
yeah.
go back there. When it's a baby, they go to?
They go to nursery.
They go to? Nursery.
When they are a baby, they go to nursery, yeah.
Nursery school. Okay. Nursery school.
Yeah, they go to nursery.
And then after
there is
that,
reception, when they're just a little bit bigger.
Okay, awesome. And after that, they go to primary school. Primary, you said primary in a different way. Or primary school.
Yeah.
In American English, it would be primary school, okay. And after primary school?
Yeah.
Secondary?
It's secondary.
What about when people heard you're from Brazil? What is the first thing that came to their mind? Like, oh, Brazil is in the Pela, Carnival. What came to their mind when they found out you were from Brazil? What is the first thing that came to their mind?
Right. A people didn't know I was Brazilian. A lot of people didn't know because of my accent. I was in England since I was a little kid, so no one really knew. Only if I was to say it, and if I was to say it, people would be like, "Oh wow, you're from Brazil." That was their first reaction, and they would say, they would talk about football. Football is a big thing there. From Brazilians.
Football in England. Let me explain to
Yeah.
our viewers that football in England is something. In the United States is soccer, and in England is football. And
Yes.
football was created by the English people. Football. But in the United States,
Yes.
football is the American football. It's a completely different sport. It's a completely different sport. And the Brazilian soccer is the typical football in England, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Yes. In England, the football that's in America, we say American football.
So, folks, the conversation is so good here with Vitória. She speaks such a beautiful English, the genuine English from England.
Thank you.
And we have learned so much when she shares her experience in England, over almost 10 years of experience, most part of her life in England. And I hope we'll have more opportunities to have more conversations about England and the United States and talk about the differences. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure being here.
Thanks for the opportunity, Vitória. I am the one who thanks you.